meme, but she said, I asked my husband what's the secret of your fitness which you have achieved in last 1 month. And she said, my husband told me that every time he heard Gen AI, he did a push-up. So that's the transformation part. But let's go around the room, understand who we are sitting with, who are, what is the core of this group, and then let's keep it interactive, have some data points to throw. Also, we have our partners here for the event in Reap. We'll hear from them what they are doing. Let's start.
Hi everyone, good evening. Myself Himanshu Parashar. I am part of GE Transportation business, which is Webtech Corporation, and head the AI plus and data analytics part. Thank you.
Hi, hello everyone. I'm Dr. Anusia Kripakran. Hello everyone. Able to hear me? Hello everyone. I'm Dr. Anusia Kripakran. I'm part of HSBC. I'm leading data science, and leading innovations in operational related work. Yeah, thank you.
Hi everybody, my name is Anushri Kalra. I'm part of VMware, now called VMware by Broadcom. I am basically head the digital engineering experience team there and responsible for running all the business processes in a very smooth manner and scalable, innovative technology options to get all of those in-house and then make sure that we are scaling as much as possible.
Hi, I'm Jigar Jobanputra, and I'm part of Barclays. Though I'm awaiting my last working day at Barclays, so in between jobs at the moment. In my current role, I was responsible for heading and orchestrating the partner ecosystem, but I've been a technologist in my earlier career, done various roles. So yes, I try to keep up with technology and AI in particular these days.
Thanks, Jigar. Hi, my name is Pancham. I head up Delta Capita. We're a financial services firm. Started our operations in GCC World 3 years ago. Like Jigar, I am not a technologist, but I am a tech enthusiast. I'm a tech user, so I keep abreast with what's happening in the world. And my company uses a lot of AI, NLP, and blockchain. So I have some views on that. So would love to share those during the conversation. Thank you.
Hello everyone. This is Rajat here. I'm managing the global business for INREAP. So yeah, looking forward to have a valuable discussion and some insights and see where we can synergize. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Thompson Chirian and I work in INREAP leading our pre-sales team as well as our practice team in ITSM, DevOps and Agile, and we also work with Atlassian, AWS and Monday.com, leveraging the different tools in terms of practice and solutions, and would be like to contributing on how AI can help in both practice as well as what the tools offer in their side.
Thanks, Thompson. Hi everyone, my name is Carl Patrao. I am the channel head for India and Southern Asia as a region from Atlassian. It's very interesting to see that there are so many people who are already users of AI and would love to have this conversation with you to see where this is going with you and talk about how Atlassian looks at AI and the things we're doing in the market. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Akash. I'm part of Tesco. In my current role, I head AI deployment for a lot of our processes that we run out of our Bengaluru campus.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Venkat. I'm the Director of Analytics and AI for Tesco group-wide. Akash and I work in the same team. So I have two objectives in my organization. One is to help the business become more profitable, more sustainable through AI. Second is we have a large operations in Bengaluru. Actually, it's a global operations team that we have. How do we use AI to simplify and free up more capacity for more value-added work? That's me.
Good afternoon. My name is Sudarshan Sheshadri, Senior Vice President and Global Head of AI for Coforge. I've been held various roles. I've been the delivery head for data and analytics, then took over the sales and capabilities for D&A. Now focusing entirely on the AI mandate, both for internal and external consumption.
Hi, I'm Anupam. I head the data and analytics and AI team in India, in Ericsson.
Hi, I'm Amod Deshpande. I am managing director for a company called AlphaSense. It's a financial market research product, and Gen AI is an integral part of our product. While we are sort of implementers of AI, I also want to now learn from you guys and understand more from the agility and the other things. I mean, Atlassian is one of the biggest things we use, but yeah, I mean, wanted to understand more from the GCC point of view, how we can go forward with this thing.
Hello all, I am Soumit Basu. I am an enterprise architect with Sony Corporation, and I majorly work on digital transformation initiatives in-house into Sony's infrastructure.
Perfect. So we have transport, we have HSBC, we have VMware, we have Barclays, we have Capita, another BFSI, we have Enreap, Enabler, we have Tesco, one of the biggest on-ground GCC in Bangalore, not multi-floor. Then we have Coforge, Ericsson. Okay, what best? I think I cannot ask more. So let me give you my hypothesis of AI. 1 year from now, every touch point, first touch point of the enterprise will be AI. Now, be it on the customer side, be it on the supplier side, be it on the employee side. If I want anything from my enterprise or my customer or my vendor, I'll chat or I'll talk. That's my hypothesis. Let's reflect on that. How many of you agree, don't agree, and then I'll go with the second. Yeah, please, Sony.
Yeah, totally agree with this. The way we are going, and the way we are seeing the advent of the virtual assistants and the chatbots and the automated ticketing system, where we don't need to call a call center to log a ticket. We don't need to enter a system to log a ticket. We just keep chatting and the ticket gets logged. Especially talking about the seamless integration specifically with ServiceNow, which is seamlessly integrated to the cloud. I'm talking of ServiceNow because I have experienced ServiceNow quite a lot. The way they provide seamless connectivity to your platforms and channelize your alerts to automated ticketing, that is going to be the future.
All right. Anyone want to challenge that? That no, it won't happen. Yeah.
Actually, I've got counter you. The question actually is more of, are we going to end our conversations with AI?
Okay,
right?
You are saying starting is fine, but will you end it? Okay,
look, so we are already starting. Lot of conversations are with AI, but are we ending with AI right now? No.
Okay.
Right? Because we always press 9 to get to a customer service executive.
Right.
But that pressing that 9 should stop.
Okay.
Right? And you just get to that agent, and that is where we are headed to, I feel that.
Okay.
Yes, I agree with you.
But that's on the customer side. Is that also on the supplier side?
I think everywhere there is a gradual shift. I think so far where we stand today, we are probably not at a point where AI can be the face of it, right? Maybe it can give 1 or 2 inputs. Beyond that, it cannot.
Okay.
Right? It can fetch some information, relevant information.
Good challenge. Good challenge.
I think on the supplier side, particularly what we see in retail, is that it's just very difficult to end it at AI. There are GSCOP regulations which don't let the final AI output to kind of go directly to supplier. And if it has to be, there has to be some sort of a notification saying that, hey, listen, this is AI generated, right? And which can be a operational nightmare for some of the companies.
What if a buyer is asking what's the status of my payment? Can't chatbot close that?
That's a very simple one.
Right?
That's a very simple one.
And then after that, what's the status of my payment?
Status, invoice generation,
Which are the ones which are problematic?
I mean, there are a lot of disputes, a lot of back and forth.
Okay.
Right? Which are the problematic ones?
On this side of the house?
Yeah, I would like to pitch in because the moment we say the AI generation some output, right? And there is a hallucination, right?
Yeah.
So what today the outcome is coming through AI solution. It is the we need the explainability.
No,
how to explain
I
it
think
is
that's
the
a
result.
technical problem which has been solved by reg architecture, many other architectures today. I think today people sitting in Valley are not talking about hallucination. Hallucination is a problem of past today. It's no more a problem. There are ways to deal with it. Train the model on in-house data.
I differ with this because hallucination is the biggest problem in AI today in the solutioning side. Because if you build any solution, either it is a chat GPT, the example, you put any question and you know what the outcome is coming, you don't know what data bank it is referring to, and there is evidence
Right,
behind it,
right.
right?
So that became-
justification of this solution is really need to understand explainability, right? Basically, I will talk again.
I think there are two parts to the problem you're talking about. One is, well, AI is moving at a certain pace. The foundations that AI is sitting on top of is not moving at that pace. So Akash gave an example
The
of
data you are talking about?
the systems, the data, the orchestration between various things that are haphazard, fragmented. Because unless you stitch that, unless you give a clear training set to AI, one, there could be hallucinations, there could be errors. Second is, especially when you get to high risk discussions with your customers, with your suppliers, I think not everything can be done through AI. And probably to even get to the stage of what can be done, there's a lot of foundation to be built.
Yes. Correct.
I think currently the solutions are binary in nature.
Yeah.
Like you can't get complexity at all because if I go onto a website to buy something, on the right hand side the chatbot will open up, how can I help you? You can't help me with a lot of things because I have multiple questions to ask, and you can only eventually you'll say
the set of questions you can
connect to the
answer.
salesperson. So and that's a frustrating experience rather.
But it's many times designed like that.
Yeah.
Because they like Uber, right? They don't have any support today in India, right? You have to write an email. Ultimately, it's designed to. It's a cost versus.
You need human element somewhere
At the end.
Yes,
Okay.
because if I left my phone in Uber, I don't know if the
Where to
chatbot
call.
will understand or where to call, who will trace it for me.
Yeah.
So I use another service.
Right.
I left my phone, I wrote an email, I got a response, a human on the other side, and I had my phone in the next day.
Interesting
So
use
that-
case.
Yeah, so that is where I think AI has its limitation right now.
Okay.
So I'd like to step in for a second here. I think I agree with you on what you said, but I don't agree with the timelines.
Okay.
I think the timelines may not be a year.
Okay.
Because like Sir said, the baselines are not set. Your language models are not really there yet. You're to understand, to get to a point where everything can be taken over by AI. But we will get there, probably not in a year's time, maybe a couple of years' time.
Yeah,
But
I
that's
think
a
culturally, if
great
you look-
point. Sorry, go ahead.
No, if you look at the
Okay. Okay. Sure.
Yeah, I was just saying, if you look at the cultural, human, and trust part of it, right? 1 year definitely, like you said, doesn't seem like it's happening tomorrow. And I don't think we need every use case to go there as well. A human touch, a human element is a very much part of our existence, and we need to acknowledge the part that we don't want to do it overboard of anything. So maybe not 100%
So,
in 1 year.
Yeah,
I
the point
totally
you
agree.
made about data, I think is a very valid point because data is not managed very well across any industry right now.
Right.
I have a previous experience with a bank. The same customer could have various data sets or data points, and we didn't know internally which one. How does AI know which one to retrieve for me to
Right.
make sense of it? Like I'm an account holder with HDFC on various levels, loan, savings, credit cards. They don't even know that I have 3 touch points with
Yeah,
them,
yeah.
and everybody's calling me separately.
Yeah.
That's a frustrating experience, and I don't think AI can solve it till you solve the basis which is wrong.
Same is with the organically developed businesses like Airtel. You have a landline, you have a phone, you have a broadband. All three have a different billing system, and hence a single view of the customer is missing in many businesses. Yeah, interesting.
Just want to add one more point here. It's more into the first question you asked, like 1 year ahead, where do you see AI, or are we ready yet? I think in mid or early 2000s, right, when Agile started to become, okay, people start to realize that there is Agile practice, this is the way of working. There were organizations that are saying it's not ready yet, or Agile is not mature, Waterfall is working, why should we adopt it? And they were looking at the limitations, and many companies were hesitant to adopt it at that stage. And then same goes to DevOps also, right? When DevOps was there, organizations were saying it's just a trendy word, it's not there where it is. But now we can see the difference both Agile and DevOps made in terms of the digital transformation. When it comes to AI, yes, there are limitations. It is not mature, and there are features that many people are still awaiting that we will only start using it when this maturity has been there. But when I look at the panel here, it's a great thing to see that there are people with titles and roles that are specific to adopting AI, right?
See,
So
I agree to certain part of the claim, but honestly, you cannot compare a methodology with a mega change which AI is bringing today. AI is a total together way of doing computing in the future.
Yep.
It's a different, uh, it is changing the ground rules of doing business in the future. Now let me come to my second hypothesis. While every first touch point in the enterprise will become digital or AI first, the partner ecosystem will also develop AI. So AI will talk to AI. My vendor chatbot will talk to my chatbot or my procurement buddy, and then there are two different families of chatbots talking to each other, one asking other what is the status of my payment, or customer asking something, and customers also will become smart, right? In B2B case I'm talking about, where a customer will say, okay, I placed an order, what happened to that order? Now let's challenge that hypothesis. What do you think when the chatbot will start talking to each other, and the data in that case you won't need an RPA bot to fetch it from one system or a screen and dump it somewhere else and do a transaction in your organization.
So imagine a ecosystem like Snowflake where
Yeah.
you have both the customer and the supplier and the entire ecosystem having their data residing on the same platform or
yeah.
ecosystem.
Yeah.
And assume that there are agreements between all these companies
Right.
where data sharing is enabled or made possible beyond all the laws and legalities and security guidelines. Then I think, if all of the data could exist in the same ecosystem, which would gradually start happening, we are starting to move towards that, then I think the questions and the answers are available within the same system.
Right.
A lot of the cross-company interactions that happen
Will
can
reduce.
be eliminated.
Yes,
However, I would also agree with the point made earlier that the data part is the bigger problem in AI. AI itself
Exactly.
is growing well.
Yeah.
But what we are unable to fix well is the data integration issue. So even in the same company, as we discussed about HSBC, you could have different departments, right?
Having different
data in a
interfaces.
very siloed manner,
Yeah.
which is not possible to integrate across, and that's where it starts failing. AI fails not because of something wrong with AI.
Right.
It fails because of the lack of data integration, I would say.
Perfect.
And that is going to be a bigger challenge. Why? Because I go back again to my previous job in the banks. How do I get the confidence that the AI generated report is the one my client is looking at when he's investing millions of dollars on a trade?
Yeah.
And if I goof up on that, I'm done.
Yeah.
And risk management for me is a bigger
Issue
problem.
for a BFSI, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. Risk management is a bigger problem for me than being seen as cool adopting AI.
Yeah.
I have to have an AI which doesn't F up any, sorry for my language, but it doesn't F up any of my processes and my client experience. So,
Right.
so that is where I feel the challenge with AI will be.
Absolutely, and we are, as I said, financial market research. So output what we give, it has to make sense to the, people who are making decisions over investment. So, over 8 years, we have tons and tons of data available, but yet hallucination is a problem. We do have to put guardrails around. We do have to have experts, financial analysts, QAs, and data annotators, everybody making sure that the output coming up is the right output for our customers.
Earlier we used to have 4i, 6i on a manual output. We are putting 4i, 6i now on an AI generated output.
Absolutely.
So where are we saving it?
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think the same point which you mentioned rightly, hallucination, but now the hypothesis which is you are bringing in is very, very critical, because the chatbot talking to chatbot, and the security compliances. So if you see the AI adoption today in the industry, service industry is faster than the product based companies.
So where are the governance of multiple AI talking to each other? Where are the ethics? Where are the standards of multiple AI talking to different family of AI? That brings me to the third hypothesis. When we have chatbots talking to each other, won't it make our life easier for these chatbots to have multilingual chat and increase the scope of our business in geographies where Tesco can buy raw material from African vendors, and a chatbot is on the other side, a chatbot is talking in some language, and this side chatbot is talking in some other language?
I think that's a very direct question to ask. So if I have to sort of share my thoughts on that question, I think it's a great vision, concept, and we're all here for support of AI, right? I think I just wanted to clarify that. I'm very happy that I'm in AI. We're all earning quite well because of AI. So there's nothing against AI. But if you look at the whole concept of AI creating an economy of its own, I feel there are two parts to it. Technically, if you're talking about data exchange, it can happen today. There are API calls that you can make. There is service-oriented architecture. All of that happens today. But when it comes to problem solving, because Tesco needs strawberries in a certain quantity of certain quality, in a certain place, in a certain time, at a certain price. It's a very nested, complex equation that we're trying to optimize. So can AI get there? I would want to imagine so. But can an AI talk to AI and solve this problem by itself? I'd be happy if that happens in my career.
The banking sector would be multilingual bots will be gift. For example, across the globe, there are some regions still they practice only regional language.
Yeah.
As a banking sector, we have to prepare procedures, transactions, everything separate.
Yeah.
But if the multilingual capability comes into the picture, if we upload in English and they are able to understand, get the output in their own regional language, it's going to be a great gift for the especially banking sectors. Yeah.
So, I'd like to add here, the language capability for trades like that you said has not been as much of a barrier, right? So the barrier has been primarily when a customer is trying to interact and ask questions, and I know Kannada but I don't know English or Hindi and the agent doesn't know. So for that anyway AI is anyway solving. But now if you take off, remove me and I ask a chatbot, solve this problem for me with Tesco. And it does, that can still happen. But anyway in the current sense, it feels like the AI is anyway doing. GenAI is bringing real-time translation, real-time interpretation. Right, so that part is being solved. But if you talk about a bigger business, where
the transaction you are saying won't happen. You are saying transaction cannot happen.
I think it'll happen.
Right? Is that a fair challenge?
It's not cannot happen. It is not there yet.
So again,
okay.
I think we sum it up, we are so
hold on that point. I'll come back to that.
We are so excited about all these advances in conversational AI.
Yeah.
All these things that we're discussing. Only he brought up the other problem domain, which is the sourcing domain. Okay, AI is not able to solve the sourcing problem. Similarly, if I go back to banking, my fraud detection problem, my risk management problem, okay, is conversational AI going to help me?
No. Wait. I'm coming to that. So
can I
so
just one.
Okay.
Sorry, can I?
So I have 2 points. Okay.
Yeah. No, I want to say to your original question, will this happen? Yes, it will happen. The bigger challenge is, will it get adopted?
Yeah.
That is going to be a challenge.
Okay.
Because the way I see it is, there's a lot of metadata two companies are sharing.
Yeah.
And where is it being stored? Now, from a client confidentiality perspective, I think it's going to go to a cloud, and it's cloud safe. We went away from Google Translate because Google knew what we were doing.
Yeah.
So we had to build our own translation.
Yeah.
Similarly, a third party or two AIs talking together, where does the AI
Privacy
go? And is my client happy with me doing that for them? So that's the adoption bit.
Privacy is the biggest problem. Lots of retailers stay away from AWS. I don't know why. But that's the world we live in
one
today.
Example I'd like to state, we are working with MIT on an interesting problem statement where AI records some information like a smart glass kind of thing, but what it does is record the conversations that I've had. Let's say we both speak, and 1 week later we meet, I forget your name or context that I've spoken with you on.
It comes on the lens.
That reminds.
It comes on the lens, yeah.
Right,
yeah.
so that is a good use case in fact, and when we are speaking different languages, I might not have understood right away, but that translates, records and reminds in a further subsequent conversation. So that aids a lot of things. So you might like me better
right.
if I remember your name and the context which we spoke.
I'm Abhishek Gupta, partner with KPMG. Anytime you can call me if you forget about it. But let me come back to the challenge which you threw, and one came from you. So there are two dimensions where I can go. Either I can go in the technology direction or I can go into the GCC direction. But first I want to pick up the technology thread. Is it happening today? Gen AI has dwarfed all other AI today in terms of the capital investment. We all agree, because there is a hype and VCs are running after it, funding the money, pushing the money. There are lots of AIs like visual AI. When the product is getting out of the factory, I want to visually inspect it. Huge data, manually impossible, no human can do, so it's a good use case. The best use case for AI is where there is a data to process which is huge enough for a human brain to process, right? You'll agree with that, and that we should give it to the AI. There is a meme there which says, I want AI to do my laundry, but AI wants to do my reporting, which I don't want. But there are adoption. So there is a startup in Bangalore, I can name it. They have 500 D2C vendors or D2C players on their platform where a single chatbot is doing end-to-end trade on the website, reducing their CAC and increasing their profit margin and keeping them away from an organized marketplace, because there the margins are much more lower. So is adoption happening? So that's where the dimension of new thinking or first principle comes in, where some of the startups are changing this in a big way, right? In Bangalore, there is a quantum computing startup. They are compressing the LLMs into SLM and trying to fix it into your mobile, right? So things are changing very fast, right? Now I'll come to the dimension of the GCC. The historic landscape of the GCC was ship FNA to India, let people deal with Excel, let people deal with SAP, and when you are shipping FNA, what was the usual first suspect within FNA? Any finance guys here in the room? P2P. P2P, why P2P? Because P2P is under better control. I can anyway sell, tell my vendors, live with it, there's some change. Then O2C used to come. Then R2R, and then rest is tech and others history. So when in the GCC, you are empowered, if in case you are, to do new use cases. How do you select the use case? Lower risk, higher value, top line, bottom line. What is the focus of this group to pick up the Gen AI or AI use case?
Low risk.
Low risk? Okay.
Yeah, low risk.
Low risk?
I think standard processes.
Standard processes, yeah, pick up the one which are run of the mill.
My answer going to be a bit long because
Sure.
because
HSBC, the top 5 bank. Yeah.
So as a bank, we are very much customer centric. So to keep always the customer satisfaction higher, we have to optimize and also transform. So when we are talking about optimization, we have to standardize the process and transform.
Yeah.
While this is happening, the legacy systems are not capable enough to
Support.
transform. But the number of legacy systems are too huge.
Right.
How do we do it?
You guys still on mainframes?
There are. So, so there are systems, but varieties of systems. So to bring a one single solution capable of handling all the transformation can be accomplished to Gen AI.
Right.
That's what we are trying to build. So it's it's a part of our exploration time being.
Okay.
Yeah. So
any use case from the GCC which is impacting top line, irrespective of AI or not AI?
Look, so the way we look at AI is we segment it in 3 parts. One is AI, which is adding to top line, bottom line. Most likely it is going to be customer facing.
Right.
The second segment is all about information sharing, time to insights. It is all internal facing, but it's time arbitrage.
Right.
You don't need a team of analysts to build reports. Not needed.
Yeah.
Just interface directly with the data and get the intelligence out. The third is simplification of operations in the operations team. Take the steps out, include cognition, etc., etc. The first one is all about brand and risk.
Right.
We don't want to hurry into that. We don't want gimmicks in customer-facing use cases. We are very clear about it. The second one is all about time. Can we get insights faster in a more seamless way, in a more reliable way? So the priorities are slightly different there. The third one is all about efficiency, time to sort of cost to serve, time to serve, etc. So the priorities, you cannot generalize it.
Right.
On the top line part, personalization is a big use case.
Okay.
How do you personalize, whether it's a bank or an insurance company or a retailer or a media company? How do you make the content relevant? Relevance is the key word here.
Okay.
We have a lot of things to offer, but what is relevant for you right now is something that we explore quite a bit.
Coming to the Sony, right?
Yes.
It's a media company. Media GCCs, so how banking GCC and media GCC differs? Media GCC has a lot more power to impact top line. they can create content, they can release content, they can monitor it, they can run campaigns, they can do SEO. In the mix of the GCCs, media comes on the extreme right, while the defense come on the extreme left. Are you doing any top line use cases?
No, I'm not directly involved in.
Okay, okay. But are there any use cases happening?
There must be, yes. I'm not much involved in that.
Okay, okay.
So I think being able to address a lot more markets is a top line direct response to this, because with most of the things is essentially about efficiency building and streamlining your business, right? That's the other two cases that he was talking about. But when you talk about top line, it is addressing new markets, which if you do efficiency and you build systems in place, that happens at a later stage.
I think,
Okay.
I'd
And I think,
like to add one internal use case. Typically, with the revenue, placement in terms of the sales side of the world. So I belong to a technology company, and there's huge investment on how the sales and sales representatives and
Right.
things like that works, right? So typically, we tried a use case in terms of looking at how to better analyze what is the forecast,
Right.
how is the sales going to be, where do we invest
Sales
more.
ops.
Sales operations, where do we invest more, what regions, geos, sub-regions and all we pick up and move forward. So there was a bit of success, but not so much. Typically starting from because of the metadata part, but then building on top of that is something that we are trying to do.
See, now the ROI started coming of this group coming together. You are getting brilliant ideas. Let me have more.
Yeah, just to add, one thing is, while we would like to address AI to identify areas where the low risk is there, what are areas where currently lot of manual intervention and human prone errors are there? But we are doing a manual, a lot of work is there, and irrespective of all the processes and the ways of working, we are seeing that there is a high failure rate, or that compared to other processes, that things are not working as expected. And where can AI add value?
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
So I was in a similar roundtable last week, and I asked the same question as you rightly mentioned. How are you making sure that the adoption, I think I heard the adoption, right, is high in the enterprises? So they told me about a concept of AI tribes they have created in sales, in finance, and this AI tribe responsibility is to increase the percentage of AI adoption in that particular function by identifying the right use case and proving it with the scientifically written a business case. So fantastic use case. They said the oil and gas company, old school, very averse of new technology, have good top line globally, but they are adopting AI in every business they are in.
But consider an industry like banking,
Yeah.
where selling is also a touchy thing, right? You can be fined for mis-selling.
Yes.
Right. So, and it's not like in retail where you actually put carousels out there saying we're using the recommender model, saying that because the likes of you are buying this, you should also buy this, or you have bought this in the past, you should buy this. The AI tribes in sales in banking are not there.
Okay.
At the moment, the way I see it, they are doing some of the other things like efficiencies or cost reductions or some of the less riskier areas which are not customer facing. But are the AI tribes active in sales in banking? No.
So let me give you a challenge here. AI, banking is getting disrupted in pieces, right? There are startups which are challenging your mortgage business. There are startups challenging your credit card business. There are startups challenging your different businesses, right? There is a startup in Mumbai. What they have done is they have created an enrichment engine. And what they do is basically if you have a new credit card launch, they will give you quality data to run your campaign where the chances of conversion are 50 to 80% higher than your traditional data, right? Is it a good use case, bad use case? You are the bankers, you guys can tell me, but the use cases are emerging in silo on top line in banking, right? Okay, so with that, again, coming back to the GCC discussion, because GCC is blamed or claimed many times to be the plumber of IT or plumber of AI. What I can see is many GCCs are doing global product development. Many GCCs are doing global AI rollouts from India. And one of the GCC representatives sitting in this room for whom I did the global transformation of £3 billion. I just realized after the introduction, they were running so 7 towers of transformation, and every business was getting impacted because of that. Automation, transition, GCC, everything, right? At the core was GCC, right? How many of you guys have reached at the level where you have seat at the table of technical decisions or technology decisions?
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Here.
Yeah.
Also. Yeah.
We started it that way. It was not something like, as a consulting or anything like that. So it was a product company as a start. But as of today, the Gen AI capabilities, what we are bringing in, we are actually launching something in a complete search mechanism transformation next week. And proud to say that, almost 80% of the team is in India, in Bangalore, actually.
Excellent.
So, and another proud thing is the rest of the team, which is in US, is also Indians.
Okay.
So maybe 1 or 2 Chinese, but yeah, we are there. We are making changes in terms of, as you rightly said, we have a seat in technology decision making, which LLM, what computing power, whether we should refine it or whether we should go an ARPA way, which RAG, and everything is basically done inside here.
Excellent. That's
yeah,
great.
Similar, I have been, part of this. So, couple of, let's say, the industry, as you mentioned. So, internally, there are a couple of transformation programs, which is, we kick off and there are various sectors. Maybe it is a dollar saving revenue, or maybe, earning money, or whether it is, efficiency improvement in terms of, reduction the operations cost. So, these are transformation where different functions, including IT, HR, finance, are also part of, decision making.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I think I would say I've seen an evolution in last probably 4 to 5 years, where when we started getting into these discussions, it was more about getting to do what is being asked to do, and then today getting to a point where being called to headquarters every now and then to basically make it a point that we have a decision making seat at the table. So it's an evolution. It didn't happen like in the first year, but yeah, now there's definitely something that, like you said, 80%, I think 90% of my group runs these transformation programs here, and eventually there's so much synergy that they are called at the seat because they are the one who hold the accountability, responsibility, as well as the knowledge of what is being delivered.
But are global roles moving to India in your organization?
They
Because I know Lota Bowman is sitting here in India.
Yes.
And she is sweet.
We have global roles, quite a few global roles in India.
In India.
Right? Where, say for example, I would be having a couple of managers in Sweden.
In Sweden.
One in US, right? And they may have employees in the other countries and in India. Okay. So it's a lot of crisscross.
And I heard Dr. Mitra also moved into the global role, right?
So he's based out of the head office right now. But just so you know.
But can you share that case with the group? So he used to head the center here.
Yeah. So okay. So Tesco is probably one of the first GCCs to set up in India, early 2000s, and we have gone through multiple stages. I think the first stage was definitely about cost takeout, simplification. The next leg was more about value creation. Can you drive top line, bottom line, etc., etc. Now it is becoming value creation plus capability building. So for example, what I mean by that is Akash is a live example. Akash sits in the board of Central Europe CEOs.
Okay.
So he participates every month in the CEO forum.
Right.
Where the CTO of Central Europe business is also there, Akash is also there. So it's not that you're being invited.
Right.
You have presence.
Right.
It's a big difference. Similarly, Sumit, who used to be the India CEO, now is a part of the global executive forum. He sits in our head office in London, which means that it's no longer you participating. It's more about you driving, nudging. That's where we are as Tesco.
What I have seen actually, right, in Tesco is there's no isolated discussion on ownership of technology. I think the discussion is more on you take accountability of either a top line goal or a bottom line goal, right, and drive that, right, and whatever is required to deliver that, just go ahead and do that.
So is it because of the might of the center which pulled it, or it is Doug who designed the tech organization like that?
No. I think it's more about it's probably both. I mean, there's a positioning of yourself that look, we can do this, because it never comes to you. Given you're slightly away, distance creates a little bit of gap.
Yep.
That's the fact. So therefore, the onus is on us to go and keep pushing, saying, look, we're capable of doing this, and we will keep evolving.
Yeah.
And we're not at the same place that you saw us 2 years ago. That's the onus on us. But then there also has to be good sponsorship from the group CEO,
Right.
the CFO. But I think it has to work in tandem. One without the other
But
is
you also have a very strong tech and the GBS, both organizations sitting together.
sitting together, yeah.
Right? So there is Vidya, there is other guys who are actually...
A lot of them have moved to UK now, just so you know.
Okay.
So there's a lot of exporting of senior leadership
Right,
that's
right.
happening, which is helping build the
Excellent.
story.
I think at
So I
some
think
point,
from Coforge point of view also, it's very clearly in Bangalore now. I head the AI globally. Got another person within my team who works on the solutioning. He's in Bangalore. We've set up the AI COE in Bangalore. So all the decisions globally for AI, for Coforge as an organization now, almost 30,000 plus, is from Bangalore. And we're also placed well because we can coordinate with an Australia, we can coordinate with any Eastern time zones, also the London equivalent time zones and US well, right? So if we need to be present in any of the meetings, we can, right? Well, sometimes a bit of a challenge, but also the quality of talent which comes into question. Now I think in Bangalore or anywhere in India, it's much higher than say 10, 15 years back. Right? People want to be in India, want to be in the right cities, and we're able to drive those decisions also from here. We've got the right support in terms of not just the leadership being there, but 1 level, 2 levels down, who can also do the execution.
So yeah, 20 years back, I think people moved jobs to India because it was back office. But right
Yes.
now, it's very different. Now, engineering jobs are here, and that's the core for a place like Bangalore.
But how are you guys enabling
That's,
it? Because I understand the Zira. So when you break the process, right, onshore, offshore,
Yes.
then the issues of broken process comes into picture. How have you guys improved it?
So we decided on which products would be in which country. So for us, for example, the JSM product, which is one of our marquee products, and is developed completely in India. They decided this 5-6 years back, and instead of starting in America or in Australia and then moving it here, they tried from scratch that the product was built in India. The entire billing for Atlassian was entirely built from India. So we understood the power of the engineers in India, and we decided to build from scratch over here. Yes, because of the collaboration, because of work from anywhere, and all our teams can work together with the tools that we've got internally. We use the same tools, and that has really helped us. But I would say that we've kept it in a silo where that if a team is in India, they build it end to end, and we don't have to wait for another team to come
I
online.
think kudos, because Australia, a country known for mines and the shipping and all those businesses, two big products. One is Atlassian and second is Canva, right? These two products coming from Australia, and both have, I think one has a big engineering center, the other is now setting up the tech centers.
We're about 1,800 in India.
1,800 in India.
In Ericsson, we have gotten largely into global team setups.
Yes.
Right. So it's no longer like, hey, there has to be a GCC team or a or a team in Sweden or US.
Correct.
No. I mean, it's cross countries, right?
It's like one team
like
dispersed, one dispersed.
Yeah,
team.
it's
Absolutely. So it's not about where the leadership is and where the foot soldiers are. I mean, they
Right.
can be spread across the globe,
Right.
depending on where we get the capability.
That's the
and where
Viking
the
style of
requirements
Sweden,
are.
right?
Exactly. Yeah.
it's the,
On
it's
a
the-
different note, I'm just reading the topic again myself and trying to,
Accelerating delivery and
there are two different aspects. One is talking about delivery and one is talking about innovation.
innovation.
These are two very different things.
Right.
Now, if you ask me my personal opinion out of my decades of experience in GCCs and several in-house companies also, I do agree that delivery is accelerated using AI-powered solutions, but I am little doubtful, little skeptical about the innovation part. Why? Because
Interesting.
innovation to me is more of a mindset.
How much time you guys have? This is getting interesting.
Again, back to innovation.
Yeah, sorry. So you're saying innovation is not happening from India?
No, I'm not saying it is not happening.
Ah.
It is not happening up to the extent it should have happened.
It should have happened.
Yes.
Okay.
That is because of mindset. First thing, we are delivery centers. We are the GCCs. We are made to believe that we are going to do work that is being sent to us from the sending geo. So we do our day-to-day job. We are happy that we're getting our salaries, bonuses, and etc. etc. So there is no need to innovate. That is point number one, mindset. the sending geo people, the management who are sending the work to us, they are luring their own employees saying that you send your work, mundane work to India, we will get the interesting research work for you. So you can innovate, you can invent, you can take the cream. Let the GCCs do the back office.
I think it depends on the maturity of the organization as to how they look at it.
Yes.
I've worked in different organizations and different industries. The way I've seen it morph is different, like outsourcing GCC 1.0, like we call it in our fireside chat. I think we moved away from there. We are GCC 2.0 right now. We are cost arbitrage, adding value to the, we're doing value added business now. So you can't ignore that aspect of it. And we have talent.
Right.
Rather than sending talent there, retain talent here and get the work done.
Right.
So while I was in the bank, we had an innovation lab and a center in Bangalore. And we were driving those discussions from here. So the innovation was happening. Your use case could be different, and that's where the maturity of the organization. If you were here 20 years ago, you've seen the shift from being a back office. So we dropped the term back office as if London does this, Bangalore does the same thing. So we were not a back office. We were all doing the same work and different locations. So that's
in Ericsson, we run the global innovation hackathons from Bangalore.
Yeah.
Right, it's
in the branch is your neighbor.
I think the point more about is like product innovation. I mean, we need to have ways that we are much closer to customers. The product management aspects from India, how much that has progressed versus pure engineering tech.
You're talking about software product or actual
that is
anything.
Anything in general.
So next Walkman should come from India.
No, there are many reasons in the back end, but
I'll tell you what. So that is the reason of tone at the top, culture, setup, and sponsorship. If the person who sponsored the center changes, lots of things changes. We have done enough slice and dice of this data. There was a center where we went. It's a bank where we went and asked the employees, "What are you doing?" They said, "We are solving the ticket. We are doing this. We are doing this." We asked the center head. They said, "What are you doing?" "We are helping improve the bottom line." We went to the sponsor. Sponsor moved. Okay, someone else. Okay, what is that India center doing? I think it's an offshore center. They do low-end work, blah, blah, blah. We asked the leadership of the bank. They were clueless. Now, this change in the perception is not aligned from the top to bottom until unless you design your GCC, which is totally aligned with the vision of the enterprise, which is to be the global best electronic company.
That is the ideal scenario.
Ideal scenario.
That is the ideal scenario. And that is what I agree with him. That's the ideal scenario. But what exactly is happening is we are doing more of delivery, less of innovation. Simple question I want to ask to anybody who is present here: how many patents are filed from India?
Okay, I'll come to that. I went to a GCC, highest number of patents filed from India, and the center head called me and said something wrong. I said, "What's wrong? So many patents, everything is fine." He said, "No, something is wrong. Come on." And it's someone is from G here, right? Yeah, G. So ex-G guy heading the center, and he said, "Abhishek, something wrong. Come and have a look." I went there and saw all the patents. I met all the guys, did the interview. 1 week exercise done. Got the Excel dump. Looked at the patents. Went in through the patent list and all. Came back and asked them to change the policy of patent. Every patent was getting awarded some cash prize. People left, right and center filed patent. I clearly called out 3 ground rules. Patent should be top line impacting. Patent should be impacting customer's life. Patent should be impacting employee life. If your patent is not aligned with these 3 lines, it is a useless, no impact patent.
I recall in one of my previous companies, we ran a program called Grassroot Innovation.
Yeah.
So the objective of Grassroot Innovation is everybody is encouraged to innovate.
Yes.
Right? I was the reviewer, the first level, second level reviewer for that green program. And I used to see all sorts of nonsensical, sorry to use this word, ideas being used only for increasing the numbers. The management pushes that we want more green ideas.
I'll tell you, Unilever sends all their IT directors to go and sit in the plants for 1 week in a year. All IT directors are going and sitting in the plants. Then 1 week they go and sit in the store. Otherwise you will never understand the criticality of the ticket, which saying the truck is outside the factory is not getting. Person sitting in Bangalore won't understand the impact of that.
I think, when is this going to become real?
Yeah.
Right. The day we collectively say that we will take a target that the company is taking and committing to the board of directors or to the shareholders.
Perfect.
The day we can say that, you get the license to do everything. But that's the moment of truth. Till we get there, there's always going to be a line of separation.
Yeah.
This is what I fundamentally feel.
I think there's a cultural and communication barrier. I think you mentioned that unless you speak about yourself, you're not going to get it given to you on a platter.
Yeah.
And we have to beat our own drum to say, we can do so much. You can't consider it only for clerical work. It is
Great.
much more than that.
Great. So one, take the target, part of the target. Two, demonstrate, live by example. Any other? So we are closing now in next 5 minutes. Any other fantastic closing comments from Ericsson, Sweden?
I think for us, I would say at least in IT, I can see that a lot of product leadership, at least in IT, is driven from India. The conceptualization of the product and the entire life cycle management is actually driven a lot from India. So, I mean, we don't look at
There is
ourselves
no
as
one us versus
a local
them.
team. Yeah, I mean,
Perfect.
we are global teams. Also, on the other point, when we talked about R&D, I mean, in a high-tech company like a telecom industry like Ericsson, the cost pressures are so high,
Tremendously high.
right? The products are quickly getting outplaced because of Tejas Networks and other companies coming in here. So unless Ericsson, because you know the cost structure is very heavy in Ericsson, unless they start moving more and more of their R&D here, they will not be competitive. So there is no way just to have foot soldiers in R&D here. They'll have to have the entire units here in India. They don't have a choice.
Yeah, I think I'd like to add, so from VMware perspective, right, having all functions represent this site was a very important goal that we had like 5 years back. What India leadership did together is to get, including R&D, all the functions, whether it is an operations, whether it is an R&D function. Of course, IT is heavily here. I lead all the functions from here, global teams with, you know, all managers reporting to me sitting in US. So all those barriers have drastically come down.
Correct.
It's how you take it up with the global leadership, represent yourself and give the vision of how you can achieve it in probably 1, 3 and 5 years time frame. And that has heavily worked for us because, you know, when you start delivering on a 1-year plan, it may be off by a 20%, it's fine. But when you start delivering that, you can showcase a lot more for what you want to do in next couple of years time frame. So,
Okay.
and increasing the site presence.
Yeah.
I think that was another major goal that, you know.
And by site presence, you don't mean that 5,000 people are working for me. No, right?
No,
Not like that.
No, across the functions, getting some work that is like recognized at a point where we are not just delivering.
The point he said that part of the overall contribution to the.
Like he said, product to be designed here, delivered from here, researched here. Product management heavily, you know, getting to India rather than just sitting in US and telling us we are no more order takers.
I'm missing
right?
life science here. If that would have been here, it would have been a different case.
I went to one of the chip manufacturers last year. They were leading ones,
Right.
SOC, not anymore, struggling. And they've been present in India for the longest time. The way they struggled was their leadership didn't invest in innovation over here. They were more execution.
And they were the
based.
first one to set up.
Exactly. And they have the biggest campus in
Yeah,
Bangalore.
yeah.
I can't name them, but you all know what I'm talking about. So the leadership struggled over here to figure out what the talent wanted. And I saw a lot of engineering talent who were not thinking beyond boundaries. So I think this is where change.
So I've got a little bit bigger view here in the sense, for eventually innovation is driven by financial incentives. If innovation is not driving money here, it will not happen much. Overall, I think it's a need from a government point of view. Let's say China drove the EV revolution even at the cost of a loss initially, then every company picked up, right? And then it's become a global phenomenon now that even Mercedes is having to invest in EVs and all of those big European companies have to. Similarly, in India, for any innovation to happen at a large scale that we can impact the world instead of just being consumers of technology and building out use cases, it needs a policy-driven encouragement across the board so that we can start driving innovation, be it in IT, in telecom, in retail.
You're saying government policy or enterprise policy?
Policies from the government to encourage
Innovation.
But I think enterprises are also getting impacted. For example, Ericsson will have to shut shop if their R&D continues to be so expensive. They will not have a choice but to ship all of those things to India. I heard recently that Boeing, they moved their R&D from Seattle to Bangalore.
Yeah,
They've shut shop in Seattle.
Yeah.
So it's also a cost pressure, and just to be present in the market and retain your market, or not retain, even manage to survive, they are moving to India.
Fantastic.
I do want to talk about quickly about a branding thing, right? So, a couple of years back, our CEO went to Prime Minister of India, and that set a very amazing precedence in terms of what kind of work we do.
You got content on the LinkedIn.
Apart from that, that's one part of it. But then, it also was about how much investment is coming
Perfect.
from the board
Yeah.
to India,
Yeah.
right? So when that starts happening, it starts building up different.
Qualcomm, $1 billion investment coming
Yeah,
to India.
so we got about
Semiconductor.
$2 billion investment. So I think it was phenomenal in terms of setting the stage or presenting yourself on what you can.
So this is a very important point.
Just
I know
just
I'm
to add
under the
here,
pressure.
from the government side, there are specific policies which are designed for specific
the startup
state-
and innovation.
No, for GCCs.
GCCs, yes.
From Tamil Nadu, from different parts of states
Yeah.
which
No,
we
I
are
think-
looking to promote GCC in India, where it will evolve toward the different function. Right now, it's always product and operations, right? Now it is going to, accounts, finance, HR, other global teams can, and the other aspect is how decentralization of decision making is part and of when the GCs are coming to India. So once that the cultural change is there from the decision making, I think there would be
Again,
a difference.
there you will find silos. Some culture of the GCs you will find very vibrant.
Yeah,
one team,
true.
global one team. Some places you might not find. You will find those boundaries. It's about the leaders to build that culture.
Right.
But in this room, there are GCCs which have India as a market, and there are GCCs which India doesn't have a market. So there is no top line investment coming from those companies. They are only using India talent. Right?
Yep.
So there are two types broadly if you look at. I don't know, you guys have business in India, front office, top line.
We do have,
We
because
do,
the
right?
Vande Bharat train you are thinking of, right? All
Yeah.
of you heard it.
So that's where the investment comes. That's where the branding gets associated.
Right.
There are many GCCs. Employees have never heard their name in India because they are not Indian brands, or not. They have not seen, touched, felt like Tesco, right? The centers were partnership with Tata, right? So still they have a touch and feel, but some of these brands you will not find them in India. But thanks a lot, gentlemen. Our sponsor, you want to conclude it in some ways? How do you guys are enabling it?
I think we're already above time, so I don't want to take too much of your time, but I don't, all of you are using Jira, right? And so I don't want to give you a sales pitch on it. AI has already been built into it. If you've not already used it, it was announced 2-3 months back. Please get your teams to, it's part of the product anyway. Summaries.
Using Jira in their enterprises.
I don't have to ask, I know. So I just want you to adopt the AI functionality that's already there in your products.
And that's the worst part of it. Most of us are not even
You're talking
using
about Copilot?
Yes.
functionality.
Are you talking about
AI, if you're on a cloud product, which is premium or enterprise, it is already included. You'll already see it as part of your
then we
product.
must be using it already.
Yes, and
Yeah.
so I want you to encourage your team to start using it for your Slack integration, for tickets, for summaries of your triages. All of those things can be taken. L1 tickets, all of that can be taken care of. Just get your teams to start using it. That's it.
And then there are companies who have both ServiceNow and Jira and not using either of their.
Effectively.
Please talk to me
Writing
on that.
emails. Writing emails, right? Culture.
Yeah, I just wanted to add from Enreef's perspective. In terms of how we have been serving GCs, like for 6-7 years back, when customers reached out to Enreef, it was like, do you have an L1 guy who can just do a triaging of a ticket, right? The expectations was low, and as well as when we get support projects, we do managed services, we do staff augmentation, and any decision has to be made. They say, okay, we have to get a response from the US team and get back. Now, right now, what we are looking at, there's no L1, L2 support. You're looking, do you have L3 resources? Do you have people who are capable with AI technologies, right? The shift has changed, the demand has changed, right? So that is showing that, yes, GCCs are not just looking at getting a L1, L2 managed support.
Okay, then let me conclude on top of that. There are only two problems in the ticket which has come in. Either a human is wrong or a technology is wrong.
Yeah.
Right? How can you fix when a human is wrong? Better training. Second is the way Unilever did, sending them to the factories. People sitting in the factory looking at 1 week of operation, then they realize how my basis should be designed because I designed it wrong. I don't know my customer pulse. So you can fix human. Second is when technology is wrong. Now, on tech side, because the technology is advanced so much, false positive can be identified by the log analysis. Issues L1 at least can be eliminated up to 50 to 60% today because they are not required. Many of them are false positive. Many of them are issues with a repetitive nature which can be fixed by the technology itself. But ladies and gentlemen, thanks a lot. This has been a very insightful session, and I loved the session and time with you, all of you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.